Hello and welcome back to another episode of Reach Your Happy with Laura. I got a new little camera set up and I have this handy dandy clicker here and I clicked it on accident. That's why I'm laughing, because I guess we're just starting. I guess I need to not dilly-dally anymore and let's just start. So it's funny that just happened, because the topic that I'm feeling called to talk about is trusting that what unfolds is for our highest good. And I'm talking the arguments, the discomfort, the feelings of insecurity and not knowing which way to go. All of it is on purpose. And I say that with such clarity, mostly because that's what I've learned from my experience, and every single person that I see in my practice here at Reach Your Happy, every person I talk to from near, far, and wide, everybody is dealing with certain aspects of life that arise that eventually turn into something quite purposeful. Every confrontation, every missed opportunity, every breakup, heartache, every joyful moment, everything is packed with information. So the other day, it was Saturday, I was driving in my hometown, which is a really small town, and it's now becoming much more popular. So I'm driving and there's this bridge that really only one car can fit in. And first, no. So that bridge, one car can fit on. And I'm driving and I'm about to go across the bridge, and then some lady pulls up and I said, go ahead. So I let her go, and then I go, or am trying to go, and this man in a really big black truck comes by, and we're squeezed on the bridge. And I rolled down my window and I was like, hey man, this is a one car bridge. And in terms of taking turns, it was my turn. And he was like, well, I didn't know that. And I said, well, why don't you look around and use your eyes? And I was like, oh, and he's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, and I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, Laura, what was that? What was that? Why are you being like, meh, use your eyes? And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, well, everything I am serves other people, and everything someone else is serves me. So his kindness in that moment of like, oh, I didn't even realize. And I was like, oh, you should know. I was like, he helped me look at something that I was blind to. So for the past 4 weeks, I've been focused on a different workout and eating routine. And I have a history with having a tough time with food in general. And so what I've been doing more of to help balance my energy, or so I thought, was drinking coffee. And I had moved away from coffee a couple months ago because I didn't feel like it was serving me anymore. So I moved to tea land, and tea has really been serving me. But in the past 4 weeks, with less calories that I'm consuming, I feel a need for wanting more energy. So I'm drinking more coffee. And coffee to me has always had this really like, hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 buzzy, busy charge to it. Everything is energy. So everything from marijuana to coffee to Mother Nature to baseball to anything has an energy to it. And we get to define for ourselves, what is my relationship to this energy? And so for coffee, for me, it's been a way for me to tap into that heightened sense of being, really energized, but often imbalanced and a bit overzealous. So bringing it back to that conversation with that guy where I was not my best self, didn't like how I showed up, really wish I could reverse and say, I'm so sorry. I've had way too much coffee today. I am charged up. I'm feeling like what I'm doing so important, and my bad, totally understandable. Welcome to my small town. But I didn't get to do that. I felt guilty. I felt sad. I felt, I needed to forgive myself. So, but again, I'm not really aware that this is the coffee situation. And I'm not blaming it all on coffee. I played a part in it. Can be an aggressive driver. So I said, okay, Laura, what is the lesson here? What did he give me? Well, it showed me how I don't want to be showing up. Thank you very much. It also, I was like, the past 4 weeks, I've been edgy. What is that edge? What is it that's like changed? I'm like, well, my diet's changed. Yeah, but that feels good. Well, my exercise has changed. Yeah, that's felt good too. I'm like, so what the heck? What have I inputted? What have I consumed? It could be social media. It could be TV. It could be news, right? I'm going through the list of all the different things that I've consumed and what's my relationship to it. And then I hit it. I was like, coffee. And I was like, oh snap. Yep, coffee. That's this charge. This is the relationship I have with coffee, and therefore how I act out in the world, and I want to shift that. I don't need to give up coffee, but I do want to shift my relationship to it. So bringing it back to what an important, like if that hadn't happened with me and that guy, I would be drinking coffee today still. But for the past 2 days since that happened, I've moved back to tea land. I had a little coffee earlier today, and I just wanted to see, how do we feel? I'm like, I feel good, and I don't want to get back on that roll because I really didn't like who I was being under the influence, under the consumption of coffee. So as small and as minute as that may appear to be, we can expand anything to a bigger picture. That we have relationships with our old boss. We have relationships with our old selves, right? So understanding that every single thing is a gift somehow, some way. So if you run into someone, maybe you were that guy, maybe, hi guy, if you're listening to me, I apologize. I am changing my course because of that interaction. So thank you for going over that bridge and almost causing a car accident with me, because that taught me something I needed to know. Some things aren't that easy. Perhaps you've been in a situation with a partner for a long time where you just can't understand what was I supposed to get from that? Well, we often need some time away from a situation to really understand what were my lessons here. That said, if you're practicing regularly, looking at things as if everything is my teacher and my student. Maybe me being a little snappy to that guy, he was like, whoa, I don't know what he thought, right? Well, he had a million different things. Maybe I'll look at signs next time. Maybe he thought that, I don't know. Or maybe he thought, wow, that girl's having a tough day and wish I didn't run into her. And, or who knows, I won't roll my window down next time, he thought to himself. I don't know what he learned. That's not my business what he learned. But understanding that everything can be a learning point. So, what in your life is consistently showing up for you that you're just bothered by? I don't suggest focusing on this all that often, but when it's in a productive way, I go all in. So, what in your life is consistently being a pain in your butt? Think about it. What is that? Okay. And now we got to zoom out about what we think is going on here and ask ourselves, what are other possibilities? If things don't happen by accident and everything is on purpose, what was that for? What is a bad night of sleep for? To ruin my next day. Is it though? Or is it to help clarify for you that you want to be more deliberate about preparing yourself for bed, having the right bed environment, whether it's the temperature or your blankets or your sleep mask or whatever. And then, right, it's letting anything that gets under your skin be a point of growth instead of annoyance. It can still be annoyance while you're growing, but I do believe a great deal of our suffering comes from not looking at what is this teaching me. Because that interaction with that guy, if I just left it like that, I was like, oh, what an idiot, and I kept going in that vein. It's like, well, that's creating a great deal of suffering for me, aggravation, annoyance, stupidity, right? Whatever kind of things. Also thinking, oh, that my small town's turning into this big to-do, what a pain in the butt. It's going to be like one of those beach towns, right? I could go on and on down that path, but what's that going to do for me? It's going to put me in the freaking complaint department, and I don't want to hang out there. If this life in this physical body of Laura only exists for a certain amount of time, which it's not even certain, like a period of time, do I want to hang out in the complaint department where I'm bitching and moaning about some guy that wasn't from around here, that didn't know how to use the tiny little bridge that I've been over 10 billion times? Is that really what I want my life to be made out of? No, it's not. So that's why I deliberately choose to, okay, what did that teach me? Every single time, from a beautiful moment, like I had another beautiful moment on Sunday, same kind of area, same kind of thing. I was like, wow, I am showing myself bit by bit that I am healing. What a wonderful thing that is. So what is presented to you is an opportunity for deeper healing, greater growth, greater insight and self-awareness. And that eventually translates outwardly into the world. So let your life be a game in a sense. Ooh, what's this about? Ooh, what did I learn from that? What do I now know because of that experience? I now know that when an experience like that happens again for me, because I'm sure it will, I'm gonna get, because we get multiple opportunities with similar looking situations to help us evolve. And if a situation keeps arising for you, that's evidence that something's ready to shift, but I've got to do the legwork. It's not just awareness that changes something, it's then going forth in the world and it being different. So the next time I come across this situation, this driving situation, first, I'm going to take a breath. Second, I'm going to ask myself, is this really important for me to show him how to use this bridge? Or can I just let him on by? I will show him through the power of my example. One person bridge, come on, man. Yeah, your truck can hardly fit there, I know, huh? Instead of causing this like point of contention. I know going forward, I plan to be nicer to drivers, especially oblivious ones, because you know what? We're all dealing with stuff. Maybe that was his first time driving his big new truck. He doesn't know the width. He doesn't understand how it will or will not fit. So letting life be your guide. We don't need to look elsewhere. Just look at your life. If you're unhappy, that's guidance. If you're blissful, that's guidance. All of it is information for you. Sometimes we hit these plateaus in life where we feel like nothing's changing. When we feel like, okay, I've come this far and I still have a ways to go, but I'm not quite there yet. Let your plateaus, those places where can sometimes feel stagnant or boring or unproductive, trusting that that too is serving something for you. Now, what is it? Well, maybe you've had quite a go at life for the past little bit and you just have been asking for a break. Well, here it is. And then the break happens and you're like, I'm uncomfortable. Trusting that the different seasons, the different cycles of your life unfold in divine timing, that everything that's unfolding is orchestrated, the symphony that's going on. So what part do you play in the symphony of life? And how much can you lean into the trust that, the sun continues to rise up in the sky every morning. thank the gods. Our earth is spinning in perfect orbit to allow this whole perfect creation that is Mother Earth to exist. We have these beating hearts. We don't have to think about pump, pump, breathe, breathe. We don't have to do all that. So there is a perfection that exists. So what if all of life was just perfect, and everything that you come across was for your benefit, was for your growth, or for your clarity, or for your realization of how damn content you are in your life? So whatever the season you're in, whatever you're experiencing now, ask yourself, is what I'm thinking and feeling contradicting who I really am? Well, how will I know that? You will feel strong, heavier, darker emotion. And darker, light, it's just a way to describe it. But you will feel something's amiss here. So I was by a pool yesterday, and since I was a little girl, I have had this discomfort with my body. And leading up to the pool day, I was feeling a bit anxious. I'm not all that comfortable in my body right now. So, and I've never been this uncomfortable before, despite injuries and what have you. So again, I'm like, oh, what's this? This is information. This is guidance. What do we got here, Laura? So I spent some time just feeling into this anxiety, okay? I have a desire to move. I want to move something. I want to get away from this anxiety. And then I stopped and I asked myself, okay, what are you feeling anxious about? And the first thought that came in was, I don't want to wear a bathing suit. And then I was like, oh, that's a little girl talking. So then I revisited little Laura, who never felt comfortable in her body, didn't want to go to pool parties. One of my best friends in school, her birthday was at the end of June. And she had a beautiful pool. So she'd always have an end of school pool party there from 1st grade to 8th grade. Every year, I dreaded it. I did not want to put a bathing suit on. I didn't like my body. Reverse a little bit more. I was in 1st grade. We were going apple picking. I put on a pair of leggings and a turtleneck with apples on it. I remember this very clearly. And I was sitting in my mom's room and I said, I don't like my outfit. And she said, why don't you like your outfit? And I said, because I feel too fat to wear these pants. And she flipped out on me. She told me to never talk about myself like that, and that's so nasty, and I should never be nasty to myself. And so I shut that down. I kept it quiet. I didn't want to get yelled at about feeling uncomfortable with my body. I didn't know that that was such a bad thing. And what my mom was really trying to communicate is, don't think of yourself that way. That's unnecessary. I don't want you to talk bad about yourself. But in my little 1st grader mind, I wasn't talking bad. I was just telling the truth about how I felt. But I got labeled in my mind, this is bad. How I feel about myself right now, this is bad. So all through those years, not feeling like I could say, this feels bad to me. I don't like how my body feels. Can you help? I shut down because I felt like my mom already yelled at me about it. Clear, okay, don't talk about this. When that's not what her message was. But I have carried that belief through the years to this point where, I was saying, I don't want to wear a bathing suit. And yesterday I gave myself permission, Laura, you don't have to wear a bathing suit. If you don't feel comfortable in a bathing suit, guess what? You don't have to put one on. And that's the permission that younger girl needed at all those pool parties. I needed someone to say, if you don't feel comfortable in your body, that's okay. You can stay inside. You can wear a comfy outfit instead that you feel good about. You don't have to put a bathing suit on if that does not make you feel comfortable. And again, my mom was trying to be nice, but it created this belief in me that I shouldn't talk about my body or how uncomfortable I feel about it. So Sunday, Brad's like, what's going on? Because I was like, I'm anxious. And he's like, about what? Like everything's so nice in our life. What's going on? I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable with my body and I don't want to put a bathing suit on. And he's like, okay, like there's no need to feel that way, And I was like, no, you know what? This is so good. This is so helpful for me to give myself permission to that first grader that didn't feel like she could say, you don't have to wear a bathing suit, that felt like she had to do something and that she just had to be okay with her physical body. And coming to my now self and saying, it's okay, you don't feel good about your physical body. That's wonderful. You know why? Because we can change that, girl. We can change that. My younger self didn't realize that I could change that. I felt like there was something wrong with me for wanting to be different because of my mom's response. Wild, right? You guys, we all have this kind of beliefs wedged in there. So when we get curious about, what is this about? Like me with the guy on the truck, why am I so angry? I'm not always like, what is aggro? What energy? Like, what did I tap into? What did I consume? What is going on, girl? Came up with all these different reasons and none of them resonated till I said coffee. And it was like, ding, ding, ding. That's it. That's it. And so it was like, all right, I'm going to turn the ship around. I'm going to address that relationship. I'm going to shift that. And that will continue to kind of delayer as time goes on. But this bathing suit situation, it is no different. And you know what I ended up doing after I gave myself permission not to wear a bathing suit? I put on a bathing suit and I felt damn good about it. So sometimes it's this inner child healing. It's revisiting a past version of ourselves that didn't feel like he or she or they had the ability to speak up for themselves or to feel uncomfortable or to feel the way they felt. I felt like how I felt was so wrong, I needed to keep it undercover and just be okay with how I was. And my path that's led me to where I am with the injuries over the past 18 months, I've had so many injuries, never happened before. But it's quite interesting that now that has happened, it is clarified for me that I want to be eating in a different way. I want to be moving in a different way. And I want to treat my body differently. I want to change this relationship. And that's not wrong to want things to be different. If you have a partner and you want your sex life to be different, it's okay that you want it to be different. It's okay that how he's pleasuring you isn't that pleasurable, but we have to speak up. But sometimes there is this like, oh, but I don't feel like I should. I'm going to embarrass him. Right? I don't want to feel like I'm making him feel bad when I'm going through my own process. No, it's understanding that who you are and what stuff you got to work through serves another person. My body image stuff helps me, talking about it with Brad, helps him understand me more, but also his own insecurities and why sometimes his input isn't helpful to me because we come from such different places in regards to that. So if it's your sex life, it's the way your wife cooks, if it's the way that your daughter was talking to you and you're really put off by it and you felt it was disrespectful, guys, we're here to exist, not to just like keep our mouth shut and just deal. We're here to evolve. And unless we're really looking at our day to day, how the heck are we ever going to change? Looking at the different things that cause such a disturbance, such discomfort in you, like for me, anxiety with my body, and then realizing that this big emotion is this child version of me that never got the, hey, it's okay, you don't have to. And now that I can deliver that, I'm like, whoa, I feel so good in my body today. That doesn't quite make sense. And emotionally, how I was feeling so anxious yesterday, that didn't quite make sense either. So when it doesn't make sense and you can't quite pinpoint it, there's something deeper going on here. There's something deep, probably under some layers of stuff. But if you stick with it and you're compassionate and loving and kind and a good listener to what's going on and the cues that life brings to you, you will be able to take something that's bugged you for so long and start to shift it. Is my relationship with my body healed forevermore? I don't think so. I'm sure there's many, many layers that all peel back to this. And I know that healing is a process, so I'm not trying to rush through this. The awareness alone that I felt pressured to be okay with my body when I wasn't, and I didn't feel like I could speak about it, that is a huge awareness that I'm just going to allow myself to continue to digest and realize. Another thing that came on the tail end of that realization was that being the youngest sibling, I got hand-me-downs, and my sister's body shapes are much different than mine, and their clothes fit me for some time, but as I moved into my teenage years, they didn't. And my mind felt like there must be something wrong with me. I'm the youngest. I've always been smaller, but now I'm bigger and I can't fit in their clothes. What's wrong with me? Again, all kind of tying back to this. I can't talk about it though, because it's inappropriate. It's amazing, you guys. Amazing how this stuff works. So if you need some help peeling back some layers, you know who to call. Reiki is what has helped me de-layer myself to get to the truth of who I am. And every time I peel back a layer, this realization of like, it wasn't okay to talk about my body, and so I felt shame about my body, and I felt inappropriate about my body. Well, that layer has slothed off, and now that that part of me has died, what I see is that that layer was never me, it was conditioning. And so the layers that come off of us and die off, it feels a little hard to let go of. And it is also not who you are. Who you are is the one thing that remains constant all throughout your life. So letting parts of us die, like my attachment to staying quiet about my body and feeling uncomfortable about it, letting that part of me die, there's a sadness involved. I'm literally in all black today, and now just realizing, because I'm letting that part of me die. It is a funeral, a mourning in a sense. And so there is then this void. There's a space that energy will start to fill into. But not the old energy, not the outdated information, that child's mind thinking that something was wrong with me for feeling this way. Instead, it's clarity that's going to fill in. It's knowing that what my body looks like and how it feels to me is important to me, and that's okay. I have every right to give a shit about my body, and I have every right to change it in whatever way I feel called to. And it was never wrong or inappropriate for me to feel the way that I felt. Some people, like, you get into relationships. I remember a while ago when I was living in Boston, I had a lot of gay friends, and the guys, a lot of them had been married with kids and then leave their wives like 30 years into marriage or 15 years, and you're like, oh my gosh, how could you do that? Well, he finally felt safe enough to be who he really was. He was finally feeling that level of strength and knowing that I am not inappropriate. This is just who I am. This is what I like. This is how I feel, and I want to embody that. Because the confidence that I feel inside of me, the love that I feel for myself, does not translate outwardly from me in regards to how my physical body is currently, the state that it's currently in. That doesn't match up. There's a contradiction going on there, and that's how I know there's some belief, some pain, some trauma way down there that wants to be addressed. So if I just give myself some time, acknowledging this anxiety doesn't feel natural, it's contradicting what I actually feel. It's a beautiful day. I feel so blessed. So there's something here. And it doesn't have to all be brought to me at once. Just show me bit by bit. So if you need help with that, I'd be happy to assist you, whether you come in person or it's over the phone. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. I'm going to do a couple extra videos this week because I missed my weekend one. So keep an eye out for that. And if this message resonated or you have something to say, leave it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if that works for you. If that's something that you actually like this and you actually want to be a part of this Reach Your Happy community, it is greatly appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, there is great meaning in all things. So allowing yourself to slow down, to witness the magic that is human existence. Let yourself do that and see what happens. And above all, remember, it's going to be okay. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.